what we've been up to, reviewing the Path of Champions, and of course, reviewing Jayce on this week's episode of the Twin Suns podcast. Welcome back to the Twin Suns podcast, episode 79. As always, I am your host, Shane, and joined with me this week, we got Mr. Cruisin here. Cruisin, how's it going?
It is going great, man. It's good to be back. I'm excited to be here again.
It's good. I mean, hey, episode 78 was at least a month ago at this point, right? I don't even, actually, I think more. I don't think it was even in October. It might have been very end of September.
That sounds about right. Like, if this were, like, an investigation, we would have been deemed officially dead at this point.
Yeah, so. That's fair. Yep. Yeah, my mom sent in the missing alert, the missing persons alert.
Yeah.
Yep. So this week we got a bunch to talk about, but we are back. So I guess first we'll talk about what we've been doing, why we needed a break and such. So, Cruisin, I guess, if you want to go first, what have you been up to for the last month?
Sure. Yeah, so, I mean, we just kind of talked a little bit as a group about how, the post-Worlds, drag was kind of, burnout was a thing. I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to, like, go really hard in Runeterra for a period of time and then kind of burn myself out. So I kind of, come in and out in waves. And so we're trying to establish a little bit more of a healthy balance. But we'll talk about that a little later. But yeah, I've just been kind of like, vibing in some other games. I've been playing some New Worlds. But Satisfactory is one of my favorite games. They just came out with a new update. But I've also just been playing a ton of Sea of Thieves, which is always one of my favorite go-to games. So yeah, I've just been kind of like, taking a little bit of a break. I plan on coming back again. Oh, now I started playing again. So like, I'm excited to get back into it and just maybe try and not go as hard as I usually do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I haven't tried in the sense of like competitiveness in a long time where I wasn't feeling too burnt out from that. Kind of got more burnt out with even just the content creation side and just like the entire side, just being like, oh, I have to enjoy playing so I can make a podcast episode this week or whatever. And then like try to hit the grindstone and end up not really feeling the game that much and be like, well, this sucks. And then, Bandlewood released. We tried to, you could see that in us, I think, for the past 4 or 5 episodes before the last one. Kind of, I think we all were a bit burnt out near Worlds. We were all kind of just feeling like, this is, we're getting frustrated with the game quicker. We're playing a lot less. I think you, me, and Josh all throughout were all feeling that. And yeah, I mean, I think it was just time to take a break, and I think it was a great thing to do. I think it helped a lot. And I purposely, I don't know about you, I purposely was like, I am just not logging on for like October. Like I am just not touching the game for October. And there was like a bunch of bitterness with me as well with like other things outside of the game or in the game, but more in the content world of stuff and feeling like, other people are getting a bunch of recognition. Maybe we should have gotten at some point and etc. And it's all pettiness that I have. And I was like, that's fine. That is kind of just built up from
not that those other content creators don't deserve it, because they do. They're awesome.
100%.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I was like, my thing is with the burnout, at least, is every time I play, I must hit masters, and
right.
Like, that becomes a grind. Like I know it's it's not maybe as bad of a grind in some other CCGs, but I just feel the need to grind it out every season, and it ends up by the end of the season or middle of the season, whenever I hit it, being like I'm just jamming games because I have to get there instead of I'm jamming games because it's fun.
Exactly.
And so I'm trying to get better at fighting that urge. If I hit masters, great. If I don't, or if I do, or if I don't, whatever. So that's at least what I was struggling with, which is I think what led to the burnout. And so I think taking that kind of stepping back a little bit has helped kind of revitalize my interest in it quite a bit.
Yeah, and with all this even being said, we are coming back now, and I'm already rusty. I forgot to announce, but of course we are always brought to you by RuneterraCCG.com, and we're going to jump in to their website in the later portion so we can review Jayce fully. So we're always brought to you by those guys, and if you haven't checked those out, I mean, they've been crushing it. They've signed on Fresh Lobster, Mo. They've signed on huge people and people who have still been passionately making content for the game, like we weren't for a month, and have been crushing it. But huge thank you to Rainmaker. Like when we said, hey, we need a break, super supportive of the break. We came back. He's like, welcome back. And you, very nice, just saying like, listen, dude, like all the progress you guys did make, it's not like it's all gone now. Like a break was healthy. Like you clearly needed a break. I'm glad you took one. So thank you to everybody over at RuneterraCCG.com as well. I mean, seriously, other than them just being a sponsorship, great friends. And I got one really cool thing that I'm working on currently as an article for them. That's something different that they've never done and something that I've never done. So I'm very excited about
Ooh.
that to
You haven't
tease
even told
as
me
part of the
about this,
sponsorship.
so.
Yeah, I know. This one, it's like fresh, like as of like this afternoon fresh. So
Oh,
haven't got,
nice,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
happening, which is sweet. And we have stuff
Exciting
for the
stuff.
podcast as well. But yeah, so that, wanted to say that real quick for those guys. But that goes along with it too. It's part of the break. And yeah, I
Yeah.
felt as if my pressure wasn't as much coming from like I was fine without hitting masters. I was like focused on Gauntlet gaming and I was enjoying Gauntlet and playing some ranked
Yep.
decks and things. And I was having fun. Um, but again, it was just more like I like if I wasn't having fun for a game, I felt like the pressure that I needed to try to have fun so I could come back and make a
Yeah,
podcast
sure,
every
sure.
week. That got to my
Yep.
head, and I was like, yeah. And I Bandle released, and we were still on top of content ish. We might have taken a couple weeks off around there,
I
but
mean, I played a lot of Bandle. I
yeah,
enjoyed it quite a bit.
yeah, I played a good bit of it, and I definitely burn out on that set way quicker than I thought I would. I was like thinking like that's going to be the one that gets me back. Like here we go, because I was burning out a little bit
Hmm.
before Bandle, like around that, and I burn out pretty quick on Bandle. I think it's a fun set. I think the designers did a
Yeah,
really
super fun set.
really cool job. I don't know what it was. Maybe it just wasn't my speed of games. Maybe the games are too quick still. Maybe it was that 6 Bandle decks all kind of felt the same. Um, it's just
Yeah,
that Bandle pile that you just throw in there, and it's
yeah,
we have all
yeah.
these different ways to ping. It was just something, which is fine. But a lot of people loved it.
Poppy.
Yeah, the poppy non-stoppy. It was just
Yeah. I
ridiculous.
like that.
But yeah, I
And
mean, so
it feels good to be back, though. I think you need to
yeah,
open this episode when you go back and post with the Guess Who's Back
back
edit
again.
in there.
We can't get sued, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, get the podcast DMCA'd.
Yeah, right. That's the goal. But it does. I mean, literally, it was like, so obviously, and appreciate it. We the peoples in chat saying welcome back. Thank you guys. I mean, if Arcane doesn't drop, I don't know if I have the passion that I do again for Runeterra right now. I mean, that show was so good already, and like, it just got all of us
Oh,
so hyped to be like, oh yeah, we want to play in that universe again. I played a couple games of League
yeah.
this week. I played some Runeterra. I'm like, oh yeah, I just want to be. I played TFT too. I forgot about that one. It's like, yeah, the
Hmm.
universe is so good. The show is so good. It just builds the hype. It's the same thing when you and I both, we've talked about playing Star Wars Destiny. When like Force Awakens was coming out and they were
Oh,
releasing
yeah.
stuff inside with that. It's like, of course I want to play Kylo Ren
Absolutely.
today. So
Dude,
did that help
I
you
could do a
out?
whole episode just about Arcane.
I,
Like,
Mikey said
it,
we could. Mikey even said he would come back for that. So maybe we have to
yeah,
do
that's a
that.
big deal. I mean,
It's a big deal.
I'm not gonna go. I don't want to get too into the weeds on it because like I said, I could talk about it forever, and I don't want spoilers or I guess and all that stuff.
Yeah.
We should warn people. But man, it blew me away. I was
Yeah.
expecting a good show, but it is phenomenal. I am
Yep.
absolutely loving it. So
Yeah.
maybe we should just do a little side episode at some point. Spoilers,
Yeah.
and just go ham. It'd be kind of
Spoiler
fun.
open discussion. Yeah, super down for that. I mean, yeah, it was a huge reason why I was like, yeah, I want to play again for sure. I mean, that was great. They were
Get to
releasing,
meet Jayce.
yeah, get to meet Jayce, new champion card coming out, which is great. Should shake up some things. They had that patch previously, and I was like, maybe we should come back and do an episode on that patch where they buff dragons a lot. I think that was like
Mm-hmm.
2-3 weeks ago. They buff Lux. I didn't even play a game. I was still like, you know what? I still need a break right now because it was still in
Yeah.
October, and I was like, still need a break. So I didn't come back for that patch, but now we got that is just adding to the excitement. Like, dude, Draven was played in the lab, and I was like, oh crap, he has 2 health. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. My
I was like,
Draven died to a mystic shot, and I was like, oh, wait, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. I literally saw that. I was like, oh crap, I forgot about that. That's crazy. Yeah, he does have 2 health. And then my Lux was 5 mana. I was like, what? This is great. So on top of it helped because on top of Jayce coming out, I also was playing like with a brand new patch at the same time. So I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah. But that's also to the point said 1,000 times why I think it's
Yeah,
important to do those types of balance changes. It really revitalizes the game if you take a break and come back.
it
I
does.
love it.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking we're coming back, but end of story. Back now. Moving forward to start, we're gonna try to go a little slower than we normally did. We were busting out 4 episodes a week. I mean, this is episode 79. The show is not that old. We hit like 50 episodes in a row to start like our first year. Like we were very, very consistent, and then we slowed down. We're gonna start and just go for bi-weekly to start. We're not gonna come back weekly every time. When Cruisin and I were paying like a lot more competitively, it was probably a little bit more manageable. But I think right now, I think it's gonna be a healthier way to just come back in, do bi-weekly, and then we can just go. If something comes up, we talk about it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And we know what's on the schedule coming up for January and things like that. So we'll get there eventually, but it's not going to be as much of that every week we have an
Sure.
episode. We're going
Yeah,
to
and I feel
start
like
with
it
two.
might be a little bit if something huge happens, we might impromptu record an episode
Yeah.
about it, that kind of thing. But yeah, in general, I would expect bi-weekly moving forward. I think
Right.
it's a good pace for the game because that's about when we see patches and updates and stuff like that. It's every
Yeah.
two
Or even
weeks.
just
So it's like
news or something.
just because I never want to be in a place where we're like, oh, we have to record an episode this week. We have to come up with things to talk about, right? Like
Right.
I only want to bring content that we want to talk about, that's worth talking about, that's interesting and worth making a show on. And I think this is a good pace that will let us do that without stretching it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally agree, and that's going to be the plan for now. So if anyone else has been following our channel as well, our Twitter and things like that, thank you for the continued support. We've pretty much any money that we had gotten from Patreon or anything like that, we dumped right back. I did a couple giveaways even while we were on break, so appreciate that. Not just like pocketing your money and running. We just tried to give it all back in giveaways. Um, and if you're following as well, we do have a little side project going on that we had. It was me and Josh kind of started a little side thing called Indie Ignition, which was all about just indie games. And I'll tell you, I mean, for that first like 3 weeks when I took that break, man, Josh and I went hard on some indie games. Dude. We bought like Monster Train, Inscription. We brought Rogue Book. I mean, we were playing so many different card games. I mean, he was going hard on Dead Cells, doing a couple different platformers. But we were going really, really hard on indie games, and it was super fun. And we still plan on making multiple more episodes of that. But we know that one is a lot slower in the book. We're doing that once every month, maybe every other month or something like that. So if you're interested in that, we'll still be doing that. I believe our next game we're doing is Rogue Book, which was designed by the people who made Faria and also Richard Garfield, the guy, one of the creators of Magic. So that game is super legit. We'll be talking
Yeah.
about that. So
I heard he's pretty good at making games.
Yeah. I played Keyforge, so I don't know if I would say
So
that. No, Keyforge was fun.
It was fun for a brief period of time. Yeah,
It was fun it was fun for what it was.
Yep.
That's the quick update on the side project. Yeah, it's still going. It's just like I said, that one is not a priority. We're doing that, so we're back to make content that we like. And like Cruiser said, we don't want it to be scrapping for something to talk about. But we got plenty to talk about today. Plenty.
Yes, we do.
I guess we'll start with the new mode, right?
I knew it. I have just started playing it. I guess what was it, yesterday or 2 days ago? I don't know. Time, I can't keep track. But it was my first time. Like that's what I've been diving into. I haven't even played ladder since I've come back and started.
Same.
I've just been
Same.
playing.
Yeah. So yeah. That I mean, I guess that's a good question. I guess a good question. So you said you came back and you just played this, right? You just started with Path of Champions. I think it's a great jumping back in point. I did one expedition. I was like, I need to just come back in. I haven't done an expedition in years. I was like, I need to realize like why I like this game so much. Like, let me just go to the core of it. Did an expedition, 7-0'd it. I was like, we still got it. Let's go. 3 of the games were against bots because apparently nobody plays that mode.
There's bots who play expedition.
If it waits too long, if you're in queue too long, they just put you against a Poro bot AI. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, I thought you meant people had like bots that were farming expeditions or something. I was like, what?
No, yeah, you just play the AI. Which is a shame because Expeditions is a fantastic draft mode. There's just no inclination to play it. Right? Like, there's no benefit to play it. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could do a whole episode on that, but yeah, if it had some sort of like I don't know leaderboard or prizes or something that would incentivize people to play it, it would make a lot more waves. But yeah, as
Yep.
it is, it's like you play a 3, or if you play it at all, and you're like, well, there's no point. So
Yeah, when they took away the champion capsules from that, and again, this game is the most generous game of all time. It's the most
yeah,
generous
yeah,
free to play game I've ever played. But when they took that
yeah,
away, that mode definitely got hurt. But so I came back for Expedition, and then that was on like Monday. Waited for Path of Champions. Haven't built a deck. Haven't played ladder. I was like, I just want to try to enjoy what I like about the game. And for those who are wondering, if you guys are, not keeping up to date, because our audience is more than just people who are right on top of every single thing that Legendary Runeterra is doing. What we're talking about is a new mode called Path of Champions. It's a new permanent mode, but it's still under the Labs tab. Essentially, it's the culmination of both Lab of Legends, which was a previous lab, which was sort of like a roguelike deck building experience where you went through 9 fights, always the same, and you built your deck as you went with different characters. And it's a culmination of that, plus the most recent lab, which was Saltwater Scourge, which was a story driven through Bilgewater, and you went through modules and you could travel around and you had different shops and do different things, etc. This is the culmination of all of that. So it is a story-driven deck building mode that has replayability. It's roguelike because each time your deck starts over, but you also have a little bit of an RPG factor because as you go through, you can level up in every run that you start with Jayce. You could have some stuff you're bringing into it from your experience with him, etc. But you're building a fresh deck every time as you go through. That is the short summary of it.
yeah.
It is purposely released inside of Piltover and Zon with a huge focus of Piltover and Zon because of Arcane. So there are 5 characters that have story-driven elements, and the other 10 characters don't have the story-driven elements, but you can still play the mode like that. And when we're saying story-driven, Chris, I know you haven't played a lot, but you've seen the comic strips that they're putting in the game and the voice lines and all
Yeah,
that. Really cool,
they're
right?
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the integration of lore in lore. Um,
Yep. Yep.
uh, but
Me too.
it's especially like if you are listening to this and haven't seen Arcane yet, like it really pairs well because
Hmm.
you see the stories of these people while also well all these characters while then playing that's part of that story. I guess it's a different timeline or whatever, but like you get the backstory of those characters and then you see this stuff play out in the game mode, and it's really cool to see like the full story arc. So
Yeah.
it just adds another dynamic to it. But I really like that element of it where it's not just you're mindlessly walking through playing fighting different
Yep.
enemies and stuff, and so it's cool. I'm liking it quite a bit so far.
Yeah, so I guess to get back to your question, I'll throw it back at you. How far have you gotten in the mode so far? What have you done so far?
Yeah, and actually, I just learned while you were talking that it's apparently going to be permanent. I didn't realize that was a thing,
Yeah,
so that's pretty cool.
yeah,
Because I know most lab modes I just expect to go away at some point.
yeah.
But so I have played through I think it's 3 levels of Jinx, like I don't know what you call it. It's like 3
A
story
run,
arcs or
yeah,
whatever.
a run,
Yeah,
yeah.
and 1 level of Vi
Nice.
so far. And so yeah, I'm just kind of slowly going through them. I was gonna just play all the way through Jinx, but I just kind of wanted to see what the other decks were like or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, so I think so. It's Jayce, and then what are the other like story characters? There's 2 more, right?
There's 5 Piltover and Zone characters that are story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. So there's Vi,
Oh yeah, Jace,
Jinx,
Jinx,
Jayce,
Vi. Yeah, I think it's
and
Victor and Heimer if I remember correctly. I could be off though.
okay, all right,
Could be
yeah,
off.
yeah.
Um,
I
yeah,
hope it is Victor. I need to go look. I feel like this is something I should have done before the show, but
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. We can definitely. I'll pull it up to second guess myself here. But
Is
yeah,
there an article about it on runeterraccg.com?
there's multiple
Sure,
articles on this
sure
thing
there
already.
is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm loving. Oh, I guess we should have also mentioned. I know we're all over the place here, but this mode is free. I mean, so it's as free as a new
Hmm.
mode can be. The only stipulation is that you need to have 2 of the champion that you do the run with, but you start the game with 2 jinxes. If you make a Legends of Runeterra account, you have 2 jinxes. Um, and then if you do a run with Jinx, they give you 2 Vi. If you do a run with Vi, they give you 2 Echo, and they give it's Echo because I just saw
Yeah,
it's
that's
Echo.
right.
It
Yep,
is
yep.
Echo. They give you 2 Echo and so on until you get all 5 of the Piltover results. So they're giving. I mean, 2 champion cards is a ton. That's
And
$6
free
of value.
champions.
Yeah, you get 2 free champions so you can play the mode, and then the other 10 that are between Ionia and Bilgewater, those champions, You just have to have two of them to play the mode. But the best thing about this is, Cosmic was saying this on Twitter today as well. This is a new mode. It's a huge new mode, right? It's drawing a lot of people to the game. There was a login queue to start the game when the
Yeah,
patch went live, which is
haven't
great,
seen that in a minute.
right? So that's great to see. But it's this huge new mode that's entirely free, and it's like not even free. It literally is giving you
Yeah,
stuff to play it. On top of just giving you, look, it's not giving you stuff for this mode in particular. It's giving you stuff that you can use on ladder in anything, in any Legends of Runeterra. And on top of that, all the quests that you get and things for this new event pass and all that, you can just complete them on this. I mean, it's so generous of a mode and a game, and that we talk about that all the time about how generous this game is. But it's absolutely bonkers that they're like,
oh,
here's this massive new mode. It's entirely free. Cool.
yeah, I love it.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean,
And I didn't even realize. I knew it gave you champions. I didn't realize you needed the champions to play it.
that's the only
I'm gonna play this game
stipulation to
sometime.
it at all. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of those champions
Like you
aren't that
said, you
free to
can go
get, but
just by playing it, you unlock them all for free. So that's pretty awesome.
yeah, all the Piltover Zon ones you unlock for free, and then just the Bilgewater
Yeah,
and Ionia, the other 10, they don't. There's no quest line for those, but there's a quest line for the first. I
and
mean,
I'm just always blown away at how much the art, the voiceover team,
I
the
know.
story team just crush it. Like everything, especially in these modes that are kind of more driven by that aspect,
Yeah.
it just it just flows so well. Like it just feels like it's naturally, I don't know. It's like a full blown game in a video game. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm used to seeing in CCGs. You get the
Yep.
here's a character with a text bubble. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have to kind of dig
They
in to
really go
see
that
how it
extra mile.
connects. But yeah, they put it
Hmm.
right there for you. I like literally after I watched the first episode of Arcane, everyone's freaking out. People are going crazy and talking about how they want more and stuff. And I'm like, if you want to know more about the world of Runeterra, like, don't play League. You're not going to
Just
learn
text
that much.
Josh.
Yeah, text Josh for his encyclopedia. Get the encyclopedia from Josh, or download Legends of Runeterra and play that because they put so like Cruiser said, the
Yeah.
story team is insane. And now they have a second full team for this mode as well. Like this mode, Sean, he started a lot of this with when we had Sean Main on for a couple times. We had him on 3 times. He was the lead designer of Targon, that entire set. When we had him on, he had left the lead design team and he was working on Lab of Legends at the time. And then he has overseen the creation of Saltwater Scourge and now this. And Mel Lee, who we also had on, she was the narrative lead when we had her on, which was obviously what Cruisen's talking about, the narrative lead of all the
Yep.
interconnections of all the cards talking to each other, all the art connecting and stuff. And now she's partial game designer as well as leading this team. So she led the design process of Path of Champions. So I mean, it's incredible to see it grow from Lab of Legends to Saltwater to now Path of Champions, and now it's this culmination of just awesomeness. And I mean, it's like I said, it is permanent. There's actually Riot Access was talking about it. People were complaining like, well, why is it in the labs if it's a permanent mode? And because they were worried, like, are you going to remove it? Because we really like it, and you can get your guys up to level 22, and it's an RPG, and we don't want to lose our progress. And he was saying, yeah, they're putting it in labs just because they're still fine tuning things and making changes. But once it's
Hmm.
set out of that and they're not making a ton of changes, they're going to make it its own tab, like expeditions or tournament, like another tab like that. It'll be Path of Champions. So super exciting.
Nice.
It's yeah, the
Yeah, that
mode so
makes
far is
sense.
great.
Like it just was the place that made the most sense to put it and get it out there, right? You can always add
Right.
that later.
Yeah, exactly. And
Cool.
players coming from playing Lab of Legends, Saltwater, they know exactly where to find it, and etc. So
Yeah, I mean, and we've said this before too, but like those types of modes are really what draw in new players,
yeah,
which is great for the game. So like,
yep,
yeah, and I love that Labs is kind of doing its job, which is they can experiment with things, iterate on different game modes, and
yeah.
try new things and like see what works and what doesn't. And I feel like that's a very large part of the reason that we have this mode now is because they did those experimentations and were able to build on it. So
Yeah,
uh, yeah, they're doing it the right way. I love it.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time, right? I mean, if you remember playing Lab of Legends, it was placeholder art. It was art that just didn't really make any sense. It was just art from like other cards in different places and
Yeah, yeah,
things, and none of it was unique. And now like there's full blown comic strips of story and
yeah.
animation, and it's like okay, like they clearly put some money into this because they
Right.
know. and people aren't buying stuff, but they're just buying cosmetics to play, and it's just a free to play game. They're supporting the game that way and things. So yeah, it's impressive to see the growth in labs, and they're crushing it. I love it. I mean, I'm a competitive guy. I like the tournaments. I watch worlds, and
Yeah.
I love that side of things. But man, at my heart, I want to play 1,000 different little RPG games and indie games. I love all that stuff. So this is like, it's like I got a whole
Yeah.
new Slay the Spire to play, or a whole new,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever to just play now. And I got to level up all these characters to 22, and can't wait. Can't wait to be playing that all week. Honestly, all week.
22. Holy cow.
Yeah, you can get up to level
That's so.
22. Yeah,
That's a
so you
lot.
said how far you got.
I'm on
I
level 4, I think.
You're level 4
Yeah.
with Jinx or something. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm like level 3 with Jinx. I played one run with Vi, and then I ran like 3 missions with Jayce because I wanted to try Jayce
Okay.
out. And yeah, he's fun. He's really fun.
Yeah.
So,
You want to start? You want to talk about Chase?
yeah,
Because
yeah, we
Chase
can
is pretty
segue to
hard.
him. You want to?
Um,
Do you have him pulled up? Do you want to read him? You want me to
I
read him?
do. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
feel
I can
free.
read him. Yeah, so Jace is a newly released champion. He's a 4 mana built over in Zon champion. He is a 4/4, and he reads on play, grant me quick attack or challenger. And then his level up is you've cast 2 6+ cost spells. So it's like kind of similar to Lux, except you can level in deck, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then when he levels up, you get an acceleration gate in your hand, which is a 6 mana spell, slow spell, that says give your allies +2/+0 and quick attack this round. If they already have it, or double attack, give them a random keyword instead. That's kind of interesting right in there. Like it doesn't go for a quick attack, double attack. It's if they have either, they get a random keyword. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I first
Um,
was expecting them to just get double attack if they had it, but I guess that'd be a little
yeah,
too strong. Double
sure.
attack's pretty
Yeah,
good.
it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, giving random keywords can be it's an interesting effect. And then his level up, he has the same playability, so quick attack or challenger. And then each round, the first time you cast a 6+ cost spell, you cast it again on the same targets. So obvious synergies with Lux. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting things there. I feel like, oh man, I'm like I haven't actually built a deck with Jayce yet.
Mm-hmm.
After watching Arcane, I want to make Jayce Victor, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Of course.
Just want to do it.
Of
But there's
course.
some cool, like I don't know, Karma could be interesting. It seems super
Yeah.
greedy, but have you messed around with them at all?
Just in ladder, like I haven't touched ladder, so I haven't touched deck building. I didn't feel like
Yeah.
trying to build a deck, get frustrated. I didn't want to. I wanted to avoid frustration to my coming
Yeah.
back to the game. But I played them with a lot in Path of Champions, and I've
Okay.
gotten some insane things. Like one of the perks was like right away a first run. Uh, the first slow spell you cast it twice. I'm like, well, this is bonkers. So yeah, he just went insane. But I love him.
That's great.
Jace is pretty much my only top laner that I'm comfortable with when I play League. By far
Okay.
my favorite. I think they nailed what he does. I mean, it's crazy to me. They always take champions and make them so like vividly like
Yeah.
their League kit, but this is insane. I mean, Jace is known. I mean, like his most iconic thing is really that he can either be melee or be ranged at any time. He starts with his ultimate, his level. He doesn't have an ultimate. You just level up your 3 abilities, and he at all times can switch between a ranged hammer or a melee hammer. So the quick attack is the melee hammer, and the quick attack is the ranged hammer, and the
Mhm.
challenger is the melee hammer. And I think that's just such a cool way to make a character. So he just has the flexibility that Jayce already brings to the table for League, which
Yeah.
is so sweet. And I love it. I mean, like, yeah, he's all about technology. He's all about mixing magic and technology. So yeah, casting spells makes total sense for his level up condition. There is a clear need for a little bit of love to this archetype. I mean, Lux hasn't seen play. She got her little bit of buff, but she still needed some love from there. And in general, just the slower type of deck. I mean, you were saying pair it with Lux, pair it with Karma, right? People probably paired it with Heimerdinger at some point. These are all slower decks that haven't really had a whole lot of time to shine. And Jay's definitely going to help him do that a little bit. Besides that, he's just a meat stick. I mean, he's just a 4/4 with quick attack for 4 is good. Levels
Mhm.
and deck, great. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love Acceleration Gate. It's so cool. I mean, that card in, I'm sorry, that ability in League is super fun. It does all your allies get quicker as they run through it. You get quicker as you run through it. Increases your range, so it's giving a little extra attack, and it's such a sweet card there that it's not main deckable, but it's just something he creates. So
Yep.
yeah, he seems so fun.
Is it a main deck card? Oh, it's not main. When you say it's not main deckable, you mean it
Yeah,
doesn't exist outside of yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I thought
It's
you
a
were saying it wasn't good enough to be. I was like, wait a second. But
oh
okay.
no, yeah. It's only created. Is what I meant. Yep.
Right. Right, right. Yeah, no, I agree. They do a really good job of capturing the feel of every champion, and they have done it once again. I've never actually played Jace, but
Yeah.
I watched him. He was relatively popular like at Worlds,
Oh yeah.
so I saw a lot of him. I just never played it myself.
Yeah. I mean,
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna keep playing Path of Champions for a bit, but I am excited to start deck building with him when I get back in the ladder.
I know it
So
was man. They gave me 3 of them real quick. Like I was just opening some rewards and stuff, and I was like, I have 3 Jace now. I was like,
oh,
I could
nice.
I could build a deck, but I was like, I
I
don't
think
want
that's
to.
like they know when you took a break. I came back and I opened up my vault from the last time I played,
Yep.
and it was like a level 7 vault or something. And I had an epic capsule that upgraded to a champion. I had a prismatic that upgraded. I was like, okay,
Yep.
all right, you already got me. You don't need
Yep.
to.
You haven't logged on in a month. Here's Jace. Here's another Jace.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
man. I'm just here for the Path of Champions, but sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Right, man.
I mean, like I said, I love it when it's a champion I actually know well. There's like 100 and some odd champions, which is getting crazy because I think we're at like 92 in Runeterra already, which is quick. Very
Yeah.
quick. But I mean, there's 100 some odd champions. I don't play all of them. I really do play like every position except AD carry. So I play a bit of everything, but the
Yeah.
top lane is probably one of my worst. I play Shen and Jayce, and Jayce is the only one I'm good at. And I love the dude. So I was super excited to see him coming in general, being a main-ish character in Arcane. Spoiler warning, not really. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'll read his next card, which is his champion card as well. So his duplication card. It's his Shock Blast. So this one you can main deck. It's a 6-cost slow spell. Deal 3 to an enemy or the enemy nexus, and 3 to another. So you can essentially deal 3 damage to a unit and the nexus, or 3 damage to 2 different units. For 6 mana, it's a little pricey. Obviously, it goes into the sense of, yeah, you're going to level up Jayce with it.
Hmm.
It's a great champion card, though.
Yeah. Especially if it's being duplicated by
Yeah,
his level 2 ability.
yep.
I mean, maybe some synergy with Ezreal there too.
Yeah, get some
You know,
targets, yeah.
it's a very like it. I'm not 100% convinced it's like super strong,
Yeah.
but it's very flexible, which I feel like means it can pair well with a lot of different things. So I'll be interested to see if it finds a place
Yeah.
like as a main. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a card that'll make main decks very often.
That's
Um,
that's where
but
I'm lying on it too. Yeah, we're both rusty here. We're just 2 old guys who haven't played in a while. But
I'm just spitballing here. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No,
I'm with you. I can't see this being super main
I,
deckable though. But
yeah.
I think it's a really good, like, if you have a second Jayce, it's like, yeah, like you said, it's a flexible card. I mean, there's not a whole
Yep.
lot of champion spells that are like, oh, I always want to use this, but this has multiple outs. You could win a game with it.
And it literally levels him directly. So
Yep.
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, really helps him out in general.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a cool card. I mean, it is a cool card, and it's his Q in
yeah.
League, and it's awesome. This next one's pretty nuts. The Forge Chief. She's
Oh
a
yeah.
1-drop 2/1 with strike, refill 1 spell mana. That card to me is one of the best of the bunch. I don't know. I've played it in Path of Champions a ton, and I'm like, oh my god, this card's insane. It just helps. I mean, it's kind of like how I forget what the card name was. The little dudes, they had a tune, the 2/1 from Bilgewater that had a tune. So you can play that
Oh
unit
sure.
and shell shockers, and then on curve still be able to get mana and have mana to spend on turn 2 or 3. This is obviously a strike ability, so if it hits Nexus and then she blocks later, you get 2 from it. Crazy.
Yep.
If it just hits once, she paid for herself. I'm like huge fan of this card.
Yeah. It's an interesting like spot in P and Z too. It's not um like my first thought was Nami, you know. Uh
Yeah.
but that's obviously in Bilgewater. But it seems like if it's counterable, right? You
Yeah.
can use like a pokey stick or something to kill it before it actually gets the ability off, which is nice. But it's similar to a lot of those ones, like that if they get it off more than once, it's really strong. And for a one drop, you don't have a ton of investment to to get that value out of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I like it quite a bit. It's a cool card.
Yeah, I don't think you're too far off either. The bundle deck that they have in the store right now is a Nami and Jayce deck. So
There you go.
there's something to it. She's probably in the deck, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I would imagine so. And Nami is everyone's favorite champion to play against,
Yep,
so I'm sure that'll go over
of
really well.
course. Of course. You want to take the next one here?
Sure. What is the next
We're
one?
on the Pharaoh Financier. F-
The
Fina-
f-
Financer?
what?
Financier? The two
Oh,
drop?
I see. Oh,
I
yes.
don't know how to say
I'm
his
gonna go
name.
with I'm gonna go with Financier.
I like that. That's good.
Sounds fancy. Yeah, so it's a 2 mana pansy follower. It's a 2/2. And it says play manifest a 6+ cost spell from your regions.
Everyone loves
Uh,
Manifest, right? That's what I've
I
heard.
like it. I think you're being sarcastic,
I am trying
but
to
I
be
actually
sarcastic.
genuinely do like that. I don't know. I am always a fan of controlled amounts of RNG,
Yeah,
and this fits in that category. 6+ cost in general is like kind of a wide range, right?
yeah,
And I know the meme is always, I got to play around Judgment every
yeah.
single game. No, you don't.
This one's from your regions at least. So yeah, if they're not playing
That's true.
Demacia, you're good at
That's
least.
fair. So even more control, which is
Yep,
great.
yep,
Um, ooh, yeah, which is also interesting if you're playing, you know, dual region cards. That
yep.
counts towards your. But I would assume it's just the main regions of your deck.
Yeah,
Anyway, um, but yeah, I mean, I always love units that have decent bodies with essentially card draw, and
yeah,
it lets you introduces some like decision making into the process. So like there's some skill involved there, and like picking what's right, because often on turn two you're not going to know what you might need 3 4 turns from then. So like
yep.
knowing the matchup and planning ahead, you can definitely get some value there if you're familiar with the matchups. I like, and it has uh, synergy obviously with Lux and Jace, so I
Yeah.
like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't find this one as like mean as the looping telescope. In the sense
Yeah,
that its RNG is a little bit more wild, like epic cards from any region, celestial package. Like yeah, that one's a bit insane. But yeah, like Cruisin said, I mean they have to pick a 6+ cost spell. You know, it's turn two. They're spending 2 unit mana. They're not going to be able to play that for at least 2 turns to use all their mana, but most likely they're going to be playing it later in the game. So yeah, it's
hmm
card generation, but it's like you got to predict a couple turns what you're gonna need, and
yeah,
it's not always easy to do. So there's a lot of skill expression, but like you
and it
said too,
can't
though,
infinite loop.
and it can't infinite loop, which yeah, nothing can now. We did miss that in the patch we didn't cover. They did hotfix. Nothing can infinite loop
Yep.
anymore. That's great. Uh, but yeah, I mean, like you said, he's got a solid. Like he's a 2/2. He's not just a 2/1. He doesn't die to pokey stick. He can block well. He plays, gets his card value, and blocks. He might be better than the Forged Chief. Definitely, he's. I think he's in the discussion. He's really good.
Yeah.
I think he
Yeah.
might be a little more limited to like slower decks because it's a 6 cost spell,
Sure. 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 Yep.
but pretty good. Are you a fan of Heimerdinger cruising?
I mean, I am a fan of Heimerdinger, but I'm sad at how bad he is at Runeterra.
Fair,
So
but now he has the Hex Tech Handler.
he does.
The
That is true.
the 3 drop 3/2 from Piltover Zone, who has the tech subtype. I think we always call them tribes, but I saw in the Path of
Yeah.
Champions today that they're called subtypes technically.
Yeah.
He is a 3/2 with quick attack, so 3 drop 3/2 with quick attack. He's essentially Draven. I mean, same card here. Um, and he has grant tech allies everywhere +1/+1 once you've cast a 6+ spell this game. So they've added a lot more to the tech package. For anyone wondering, tech is the subtype of Heimerdinger's turrets, and as well as there's the McDonald's fries 1 drop, who's a 1/3. I forget his name, the
The
Adaptatron or something.
Adaptron
Yeah,
3000.
Adaptron. Yeah, McDonald's fries. He is a tech
I've never heard that before, but that's great.
Yeah, I mean, look at him. He's
Yeah,
McDonald's.
he's the McDonald's fries. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so he's a tech, and then there's a couple cards that obviously create tech, like Production Surge creates. You spend all your mana to make tech cards. So they've added a lot of tech support since the good old days of when it was just Heimerdinger. And I mean, this one's interesting. He's not bad stats at all. I mean, a 3-drop 3/2 with quick attack's pretty good. The only thing is he
Right.
needs to be either alive and then you play a 6-drop later or 6-cost spell later, or you need to play a 6-cost spell and then when you play him, he'll give the
Right.
buff out instantly. But it's a good buff.
It is, and I was wondering when they were going to add more tech support. That's kind of funny. More support for the tech subtype,
Tech
because
support.
there have been there have been references to it on things like Glorious Evolution, but like even with this, Heimerdinger obviously adds a bunch, but there are not very many tech followers in the game at all. So
Right.
it just feels like it's not enough to really fully support an entire archetype.
Yeah,
But
agreed.
I would like to see it at some point. Like that's a cool, like, um, theme. I like the idea of building a deck around the turrets and robots and stuff. It'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean this
And
guy's
I
adorable
don't
too.
think Glorious Evolution is the problem. He has a little hat. I mean, look at
Yes.
him.
Yep. He's grade A adorable. I love this thing. You want to take the next one?
Yeah, I don't have the link that you're pulling the order from, so
Oh,
just tell
gotcha.
me which
Sorry.
one you want me
You
to
got
do.
the Forge of Tomorrow up next.
Okay. Forge of Tomorrow. So that is a 3 mana landmark from P&Z. It says when I'm summoned, summon a Forge Worker, which is a 3 mana 3/3. Uh, and it says when you cast a 6+ cost spell, destroy me and refill your spell mana. So again, more synergies with Jayce. It's uh, it's interesting because it's essentially like playing a 3 mana 3/3 that has a bonus later on, right?
Yeah.
Um, but also has synergies with like Ziggs, things that destroy landmarks, or the spell mana coming back for Jayce and other things like that. Another card that's like, because the one of the biggest problems with many landmarks is you play them and they do nothing.
Yeah.
So right, at least this is proactive and it gives you a body as soon as it's played. So I like that quite a bit. I feel like that's like the kind of thing. If they're not super powerful, it's the kind of thing landmarks need to be good.
Yeah, I think that's what makes like Hexmine Explosive so good too. It's like it's played, it stuns
Hmm.
somebody, and then later you'll get value. Kind of the same thing here.
Yep.
You play it, you get on curve a 3/3, which is great, and then at a later turn, you can possibly play a 6-cost spell, get to destroy it, so clear your board space back up, so you can play a bunch
Yep.
of other stuff, and gain the ability to refill your spell mana. I mean,
Yep.
this card's got a lot of value to it. I think it's got a
Yeah.
ton of value. Normally, we'll talk about if things are overrated, underrated. I
Oh,
haven't been paying attention to the general census of it, but to me, this card seems good.
I'm also realizing that I misspoke a little bit there. There isn't really synergy with Ziggs because it's not when it
Yeah, yeah,
destroys. When it gets destroyed, it's when you cast a 6+ cost spell. It's
right.
destroyed and refills. So if you just destroy it yourself, you don't get that bonus. But still,
Yeah, yeah,
you can still
exactly.
destroy it if you want. You just don't get that bonus. So
Yeah, you'd still be able to just get a 3/3 body out for the
yeah,
3 mana and then play it. So
yeah,
yeah, it's a solid card.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's all around pretty good. I think all of these so far have been pretty solid in general. I think we're getting to a couple
yeah.
weirder ones as we go, but still some pretty interesting ones. This next one, I'm obsessed with this card. I'm obsessed with really weird cards. I'm pretty sure everyone who listens knows. Like I just like the most random freaking cards. But this thing is also, this is the Pharaoh Sky Cruiser. It's the full art is gorgeous. It's like this like launch bay of Sky Cruisers, like the inside of a freaking Star Destroyer for these super fancy
Nice.
upscale Sky Cruiser like hot balloon things. They're so dope. It's a 4-drop 2/4 with elusive, but it gets +2 attack once you've cast a 6+ cost spell this game. So obviously all of these cards that came out with Jayce have been focused on that archetype. And here's another one, but it would be a 4/4 body with elusive in PNZ, which does have some elusive abilities. I mean, they have a couple cards that have elusive. They have ways to grant elusive to different things. They have a champion with elusive. They have two champions with elusive. Um, I just think this card's pretty interesting. I don't know if it
Yeah.
really fits in the deck, but I've been using it in Path, and it's been super fun to play. It's a 4/4 elusive is nothing to joke at. It's a solid stat line.
Yeah, and everybody loves playing against elusives, so it's a win-win all around.
You got that right. You got that right.
What was I saying? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about this one. It
I
doesn't
know.
really
That's why
interest
that's
me
why I had to
all
talk
that
about the
much.
art for a couple seconds there.
The art is cool. I will give you that for
The art's
sure.
great, dude. The art's so good.
I mean, maybe there's a place where it's, maybe it has a place in a deck, but I don't know. I don't really love elusive decks in general,
Yeah.
so it does not. It's just not my playstyle. So it's not one of the ones I'm more excited about in this mini set. If that
Fair.
makes sense.
Very
You
fair.
know?
You want to take assembly line next?
I would love to take assembly line because that card is cool.
I think it's pretty good.
Wait, it's the Oh wait, is that the one I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of production surge actually, but still, assembly line
Yep.
is still a cool card. So it's a 6 mana slow spell, and it just says summon 2 forge workers. So not as exciting as the one I was thinking of, but that's actually not from this event. I just got them confused. So yeah, Shane, tell the people because it's definitely not me forgetting. What's a forge worker?
The 3/3 unit that we were just
Okay,
talking
yeah,
about.
it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing that the landmark makes, right?
Yeah. Same thing. So,
So, but it's cool because you can summon them with spell mana, and it has all the synergies we've been talking about. So,
I mean, yeah, if you play the landmark, get a forge worker, play this next turn with your spell mana, and do 3 regular mana, get you have 3 forge workers, and you pop it and refresh your spell mana. It's pretty decent. I mean, turn 4,
yeah.
you got a couple 3/3s out, and you can still have your 1 and 2 drop, and you have spell mana to work with. That's a pretty aggressive start.
Does this ever replace the name of the card is slipping my mind, but the 6 mana summon a random 5 drop?
Yeah, Remembrance. Yeah, so that's like exactly where I was going to go with it. So there's the illegal contraption from Piltover Zone, which is the 6-drop, 6-cost
Yeah.
spell that summons a 5/5. So this is
Right.
like directly competing with that slot in the own
Yeah.
region because it's in the exact same region, same spell, same
Yeah,
spell
yeah.
cost. So this is 2 3/3s or 1 5/5. I think 2 3/3s is better a lot of the times, but it does take up more
Yeah.
board space. But then if you're playing it with Lux and Demacia, Remembrance is pretty amazing. It can get reduced in cost, but that sometimes can bite you when you're playing a Lux deck because you have to spend enough mana.
Right.
But now you're playing a Jayce deck as well. If you're doing that, you need that Remembrance to cost 6. But this is an
Yeah.
interesting, like, okay, I just banked my spell mana turn 1 and 2. Or I played the Forge Chief, she struck, I played nothing on turn 2, and now on turn 3 I can drop a 6-cost spell. I have 2 3/3s. I still have my 1-drop. Pretty decent curve. Like I said, I've been playing like all Path champions, but I've hit that hundreds of times now because you get all these cards to start that deck, and it feels decent. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember Remembrance feeling really good, but this still feels good.
Yeah, because I feel like this type of deck benefits more from going wide than it does from 1/5/5.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, I guess you probably generally kill the same amount of units, right? Like a 5/5 will generally trade up, or get a 2-for-1 essentially.
Yep.
But a lot of the aggro decks that you have trouble with in a deck like this
Yeah, that's
tends
a good point.
to be wide. So having those blockers, especially because they've done a lot of the changes recently, have brought things like the super aggressive cards down to about 3 health. So that's very relevant, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's super good for that reason. And the other reason, if they are going wide, a lot of those
looking
things
at
always
you,
have like 2
Rune
attack.
Runner.
What's that?
So I'm looking at
Sorry.
you, Rune Runner.
Oh God, always the
That's
Rune
down to
Runner,
3
dude.
health, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is now too. Dude, so many things have changed. It's
It is.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nuts.
So I like it. I think it's a cool card.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Did really well.
I think Assembly Line's pretty solid, actually. I was kind of sleeping on it a little bit to start. I was kind of like with you. I was like, yeah, I think
Yeah, because
Remembrance might
it's
be
not
better.
flashy.
It's
You
not.
know?
It is not. It's just 2 3/3s.
Yep.
It's a lot of value though. The next one
Yeah.
is flashy. very weird card here. We have the Hextech Anomaly, which is a 6-cost focus speed. So we're getting a little bit more focus speed, which is cool. I didn't notice that until now. It's when you draw, or I guess it doesn't even matter at all, right? Yeah, it doesn't. That's why I didn't notice it, because it doesn't matter. When you draw or create me in hand, or each round start. So essentially, always, while I'm in your hand, transform me into a random 6+ cost spell. Lots of RNG here. It can be any spell from across any region at all times. This is a main deckable card, but like it's pretty unique where if you are doing something like, say, this manifest guy, Pharaoh Financier, you manifest the 6-cost spell, this can pop up in that manifest. You can pick this, and it says when you draw or create me, so you're creating it right then. It will then change. So if you don't like your other two options, you can pick this and get a random third option from outside of your regions. So you do, in fact, have to worry about judgment.
I was gonna say, like,
bringing it back.
This is the type of RNG I don't love. Like, there's no skill in this card at all. You just get something random.
Yep.
And it just doesn't. It probably makes for some cool, highlight reels or whatever. Which, say, I guess that there's some value there. But like, I don't know. I want cards that have interactability and you can play around and to some capacity and like have skill involved in playing. And this is just none of that. So I'm not a big fan of. I will say though, the focus is relevant a little bit in one way. Like, what's that follower that you can draw a focus fast speed or slow spell?
Oh, true. Yeah.
Like if this is your only focus spell, you can target it.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd ever want to do that.
That is good relevance.
That,
yeah.
I'm like I said, it'll probably lead to some funny things happening, but I'm not a fan of this one.
Yeah, I doubt we see it often or anything, but there will definitely be games where it does come up where it's like someone does pick it with one of their. I mean, there's
Someone's gonna get this at next year's Worlds and like get some crazy like they're just gonna get it through a manifest, get some crazy card, and everyone's gonna lose their minds.
Yeah, they're gonna get like Fielder Rush from it or something obnoxious and just or perfectly timed Ruination.
Heartstoned.
Yep. And then Lore's gonna die. I'm with you. I think the card is not good, but it's also extremely RNG specific, and it's going to create some wild plays every once in a while that will piss some people off. Yeah. He does make the Hextech Financier, or this card makes the Hextech Financier look like a lot more skilled of a card, for sure. It does do that. The last card's all yours, but it's Albus Pharaoh. So we've been talking about the Pharaohs. These are this family that they've been alluding to, and this is the last guy. You want to take it?
Yeah, if this family's going to show up in the show.
They got to. Come on.
So yeah, it's a 7-mana 6/5 with quick attack, and it says when I am summoned, draw Jayce.
He's got a boat,
and then he's got. That's kind of a weird. Yeah.
The
Sky Cruiser should summon him then.
Yeah, actually.
When I'm summoned, draw Jayce, attack. Deal 1 to the enemy nexus. For each 6+ cost spell you've cast this game, increase it by 1. Why would it not say just... Oh, never mind. So it's a minimum of 1 if you haven't cast any 6+ cost spells. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was going to say, why doesn't it say deal 1 for each 6+ cost spell?
Yeah, it's X plus 1.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the first time I've read this card. Somehow I missed this one in the list. So this is literally right off the cuff. That's interesting.
Initial reaction right now, brought to you live.
I like abilities. I like the idea of followers that summon specific champions because I really like the added consistency that brings. Some of them are so bad they're not worth running.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Misfortune. But
I am offended. I'm so offended right now. Oh my god. I get it. I get it. I've made multiple Siren videos on YouTube. But continue.
But I like it. It's an interesting because it seems like more of a like an aggro spin to it, which is not something I expect in a deck built around 6+ cost spells.
Yeah, right.
But P&Z has a lot of burn. Jayce's spell can be burn.
Yeah.
and especially for casting it twice, 6 damage to the face is nothing to sneeze at. Um, so yeah, it's an interesting twist. I wonder if you can build a kind of like burn J stick with something like this.
Yeah, it adds like a weird finishing power to the deck for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah,
over the top damage. He's a very weird card in general. I mean, yeah, he's a boat, so he gets to draw, which is great. I love those cards because we do want to have the game is focused on champions, so cards that are
yeah.
drawing champions are pretty good
And how
most
many
of the
times have
time.
you played where you're like, my opponent drew 4 champions and I drew none. I guess I
Yep.
lose.
Yep, exactly. So they've added so many cards that draw champions
Yeah.
now, which is great. None are cooler than Shen's. Shen's boat is a living monster tree, which is the
Right.
dopest thing ever. But it's so weird. This card's got like quick attack and then this over the top attack damage. Yeah, it's just not at all what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like you said, for the capstone of the 6+ cost spell archetype, it's definitely a weird one. But Jayce is good late. I mean, he levels in deck.
Hmm.
He's good on 4 because you can just be a 4/4 quick attack. That's fine. But he's very valuable late because as soon as he's leveled, which he levels while he's in your deck, he comes out and now he's double casting the first slow spell you play, which is great.
Which adds two ticks to this guy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Adds 2 ticks to this
It's
guy. It's pretty good.
it's interesting too because like I don't know. At least I know nothing about this character, but based on the card art, he looks like a politician. So you don't expect that big of a body that's meant, so aggressive in a politician. Maybe he's
With
not,
quick
but
attack, dude. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like,
yeah.
what is that keyword doing there? Why does he have quick attack? I guess they just want him to live,
Got a
but
quick wit, and that's how
I
he.
guess yeah.
Let's go with
I
that.
just stared
We're
at his
gonna like the lore's
mustache.
gonna come out around this guy, and he's gonna be like some brawler.
Yeah.
I just.
Gonna read the text whatever it is, the stupid text underneath of him, and it's gonna be some crazy thing about how he's got like a machinery doing it or something. But yeah, to me it just looks he's like just sitting in a chair. No, apparently those are his shoulder pads. I thought that was like the top of a chair.
I mean, those shoulder pads are pretty dope. I'm not gonna
That's
lie.
some intense freaking shoulder pads. I'm not. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something. I was
I
not
know it's
expecting
it's a
that.
podcast, so we should. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
literally. I mean, it look obviously you should look up the card yourself, but
yeah. I
it
mean,
looks like
I can help out a
uh
little bit here. This is the shoulder pads, guys. If
for
you're watching
YouTube.
the
Yeah,
video, yeah, this
yeah.
guy's got he's got a
It's like
scene.
workers, like
Yeah,
blacksmiths on his shoulder.
yeah. So he must be
I mean,
the family that Jayce was working for, or whatever, for making
yeah.
hammers and stuff. And this is the head boy right here.
I mean, I'm about it. I
Those
want
shoulder
those
pads.
shoulder pads.
I bet you didn't think our first episode back would be a 30-second segment on shoulder pads, but
Oh,
alas.
I'm just saying, Ryan. If you were to sell those shoulder pads, I would buy them
Someone
every
needs to
day of the week.
cosplay as this guy. It's gonna be cruising. Pharaohs, dude. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's sweet. So wrapping it all up, guys. That was again right on Runeterra CCG for all of these card spoilers. They were reviewed on there. There was already decks that were made and written with full guides on this website with Jayce. So if you haven't checked the website out, it's super great. One of my also favorite articles that was released lately, which I got to shout out at the very end, is decks inspired by Arcane. So that was super sweet. So if you did come off like we were talking about, oh my god, I want to play this game because Arcane. There's decks that you can just take right from there and play some of your favorite cards from Arcane now for sure. So make sure as well just to play Path to Champions. I mean, like I think Cruz and I both are giving it a pretty big thumbs up. I don't want to speak for Cruisin', but
Yeah. Oh yeah.
very good mode.
Play Path of Champions. Go watch Arcane. Come into our Discord and talk about Arcane with us.
That is
I
the
can go
move.
all day.
That is the move. Seriously, show's insane. I mean, guys, thanks for having us back. Hopefully, still have like at least 10, 15 people that listen. That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, we'll have our
There are
normal
dozens of
closing.
us.
Yeah, this army right here. But seriously, appreciate the support while we've been away. Everyone's been super nice, so thank you guys. Like I said, you can expect us back every twice a month at least. So we'll be still making some content here. And like I said, working on a couple things I can't reveal right now, but we're not out of the game yet in terms of getting some sweet people on the podcast. So that will happen at some point, ideally. So and again, if there's anybody that is out there that you want on the podcast, go on Twitter. Go on, Twitter's like the main one that a lot of the rioters use, a lot of the streamers use, or go into streams and say like, "Hey, I'd love to hear you guys talk on the Twin Suns podcast." I mean, we had multiple people as soon as Jayce got released. They were mentioning the guy who designed Jayce, and they were like, "Can you go on Twin Suns podcast?" Like literally like 5 people on Twitter. So that means the world to us. Like that's so nice of you guys that
Yeah.
obviously we just want to hear what they have to say. It's not like we're doing this for. I just want to talk to the people who make these games and bring that discussion to you guys because it's so fun to listen to. So super nice
Yeah.
of you guys, and it does
Anything
really
that
help.
gives, anything that shuts us up and lets someone more interesting talk, I'm in.
100%. That's what we're here for. I mean, I take some pride in the way we do those interviews, and then when we do an episode with just
Yeah.
us, it's just absolute garbage. But other than that, it's been good. It's been good. Thanks for having us back, Cruising. Any closing words here?
No, man, I'm excited to be back. I'm excited to dive back in and hopefully get some cool people on the show. So be sure to stay tuned. Join Discord, subscribe on YouTube, all that fun stuff. You're gonna do all that in the outro, but
It's
yeah,
gonna be right there in
I'm
the
just,
outro for you guys. Stick for
yeah.
that nice spicy outro. It's coming
Ooh,
right here
I'm
next.
excited.
All right, next time. Next time, episode 80. Big episode coming up. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
We'll catch you guys then. Peace. Thank you for checking this episode of the Twin Sons Podcast out. If you're looking to support us in other ways, you can check us out on YouTube at the Twin Sons Podcast. You can also check us out on Discord. Join our Discord where we have tons of great discussions and keep you posted on all of the content we make. You can follow us on Twitter, which is just twitter.com/the Twin Sons Pod. You can also follow our co-host, Cruisin' and Josh, and even Mikey, all on Twitter as well. All of those links will be in the description of the video or the podcast that you just listened to or watched, as well as Twitch streams. We have all four of us are also streaming on Twitch occasionally, so you can feel free to dive into those. If you want to support us on Patreon to go even a step further, feel free to head over to patreon.com/the Twin Sons Podcast. We have a bunch of different tiers there where you can actually get different upgrades and different support for the show and actually get some nice rewards as well. And finally, if you want to check us out on Teespring, we have a bunch of cool swag based on the logos that we've had made for the podcast over the life of the show itself. So thank you guys again for all of the support, and catch you next time.